So, if you remember guys, we did active standby yesterday. I showed you what happens when active fails, what happens when active comes back, okay, how we can forcefully make ASA 1 active if you really want to make him active. Otherwise, definitely with the help of configuration you can make active and standby, that is primary and secondary. I hope you understood. So, today we will go with I was telling you about the stateful firewall. So, you can also do stateful. Let me just start this. Let them start. So, today's topic is like in failover only we will do active failover, but for doing active failover you need to do security context first, then only you can do that, okay. So, I will just enable and see show failover command. You can see but you can see stateful failover is not there, not configured. Now, first of all, what is stateful failover? Okay. So, if you see the diagram, as per the diagram, this is active, this is standby. So, whenever the traffic comes, only this fellow will serve the traffic, because this is a standby unit. But for some reason, suppose this fails, what will happen? Definitely this will become what? Active, because we are doing what? Active standby. But what about the running connections or active connections? The running connection and active connection will be lost. Why? Because the switchover will take place definitely after 15 second or 25 second, whatever is the stipulated time, but there is no connection table maintained by ASA 2, or there is no active connections being maintained by ASA 2. So, he do not know about the running connection or active connection. So, he is going to serve only the latest connections or latest activity. Whatever is previously connected won't be supported. Why? Because he don't know about those connections. Like yesterday I showed you that R7 is doing some telnet. So, he is doing telnet to 10.1.1.2. Why the connection is refused? Show access list. You can see the screen. First let me check the connectivity. It's working. What about access list? Hit count was there. What about R1? Connection, this thing routing is sure there. So okay. So when I say show CCNA in detail, you can see the connection is there on active firewall, but when you go to this and say show CCNA in detail, you can't see any connection here. So what happens, like see, I am entering here into my server via telnet from R7, see, and the server will also tell, okay, somebody is there, somebody has telnet into my device. So R7 is taking easily the telnet session, ASA1 is showing the running connection, even server 1 is showing that 172.16.10.2 has taken the connection. But the problem is, what happens if this box goes down? See, I lost the telnet session from R5. Why? Because my ASA who was holding the connection is now down. Okay, this will show, but you see I lost the connection here, I can't enter. This fellow has become active, but when I say here, see there is no connection here and this fellow lost the connection, I can't move. Though this must be showing, but actually I lost the connection. This is the drawback of so what we will do now, if you really want, my connection also should get sync. That means I want ASA1 should sync the connection, active connection to standby unit. So in case anytime if he loses any interface or if he is totally down for some reason, at least ASA2 carries the active connections and he can easily serve the telnet connection of R7 towards R5 or whatever connection he is receiving from ASA1, he will share it, ASA1 will share it with. So this behavior of sending the active connections to ASA2 and ASA2 maintaining the table is called what? Stateful failover. Okay. So I go here and say show failover, you can see failover is on, unit is primary, show failover. Okay, so I will forcefully make this fellow as active and say show failover. okay, and then I will run one command failover link, okay, and specify the interface name. Now I am having only one interface. If I want another interface to act as a for stateful failover, I can use it, or I can use the same interface. So if I am using the same, so I will say failover link FO and the interface is G0/3. So when I say show failover, you can see this interface now is acting as a stateful failover link, same interface. You can have same interface, you can have different interface. So now at present I am having only one interface who is going to act as a stateful failover, assume. Okay. So I just took G0/3 as a LAN based failover also, and I took G0/3 as a stateful failover, and now again see the difference. I do telnet. Show IP INT brief. Okay, now telnet session is active. Now you see show CONN detail on primary firewall. You can see the connection is there, and now you go to secondary firewall, who is acting as a standby firewall. Can you see? And see, there is one connection received, or some connection was received. Okay. See, transmitted. So he is telling I transmitted something, okay, and this fellow said, okay, I received something, that is TCP connection. For TCP connection, this fellow, and important is now you see there is a connection detail on secondary firewall. This is primary firewall which carries the connection, and this is secondary firewall also carries the same connection. So what happens if the box goes down? Connection is there. This guy has switched to active. You can see the connection is still active. Primary box has gone down. This connection is still active, and you go here and say show IP INT brief. Can you see? Telnet is intact, it never broke because of stateful failover. So this is the beauty of stateful failover. This is supported in both active standby also and active also. You can use a separate interface. As per my diagram, I have made two interfaces. I will show that this interface will act as a stateful failover in active failover. So I can use single interface for doing normal failover as well as stateful failover. I can use a separate interface. Recommendation is you should have a separate failover interface for stateful. Don't club it with normal LAN based failover, because in normal LAN based failover it is hello message is being transmitted and received, but in case of G0/4, which is going to act as a stateful failover, you are actually receiving the information, the connection details. So, I do not want this information should get under failover interface. So, I have kept a separate interface, but as I showed you in this example just now, I use the same interface to act as a normal failover as well as stateful failover. Clear? So, you see my telnet is intact, and now when this fellow comes in, though he becomes a standby unit, this ASA2 who is now active will forward the active connection to this guy. Let us say so, when I say show connection detail, they are syncing. Say this. Still the connection is active. He is telling I am standby. What about active connection? See, ASA2 immediately gave him the active connections which he is carrying now as an active unit, and telnet is still continued. This is the beauty of stateful failover. How to find out whether it is activated or not? Simple. There is one command called failover link. Okay. How to find out? Show run failover. Clear? So, now we will do active failover. So, what I will do? I will just clear the configuration, or you can leave this configuration. I will disconnect this active connection. Show flash, delete star dot something. Now, you know how to configure security context. So, I will show you what is the meaning of active first of all. So, if you remember, I told you active means both the devices going to work together. See here, just go through the diagram. Now, I am going to create two contexts. The name of the first context, I can make it HR context, second is as IT, or I can make it context 1, context 2. VLAN 1020 will be acting as a VLAN for context 1 LAN, and VLAN 20 will be acting a VLAN for context 2. Same way, VLAN 30 is going to act as a VLAN for the server or DMZ of context 1, and same VLAN 40 will be acting as a for context 2. So, there will be a DMZ outside, inside and DMZ for context 1, there will be inside, outside and DMZ for context 2 and both the contexts I am going to create on ASA 1 definitely, but I will be simultaneously configuring these for set standby unit also. So, if you see, I have created a yellow context which is context 1 and a green context 2, but now I need more IPs, like I need 10.1 for my active unit and 10.2 for my standby unit. I need 20.1 and 20.2 for my standby unit. I need 4 IP addresses for outside, that is 20.111, 20.112, 20.113, 20.114. One for outside of ASA, that is context 1, 2 standby unit of context 1, 3 outside unit of context 2 and 4 outside. So, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, because if you remember in active standby also we gave the IP address for the standby unit. Same way, if you are creating 2 contacts on ASA 1, the same contacts will also have on ASA 2, but I need to give IP address for primary also, I need to give IP address for secondary also. So, what I will do, I will make a script and show you, so that you do not get confused, and in this script I will keep it parallelly like this, so that you are aware of your configuration. First thing I have to do is what? Mode multiple, because I told you, you need to do, you have to change. I already explained you about active failover. So, first you have to convert. So, what we will do one thing, because once we convert it will reboot it. So, I say mode multiple, but I need to check whether it is supporting active or not. No. So, what we will do, we will take another iOS for this. Active failover. Just see, because active failover need license. So, I am having only one box, I should have 2 boxes, I do not know why it is only one box. Let me just start this and see. Okay. Let me just check what is the port number for this. 32776. Active failover. Good. So I just give the name. Now I just check the mode. Okay. Clear configure. To erase the configuration, I have to say clear configure all, show flash, delete star previous configuration, show mode, so I will make it single. What about this guy? Show flash, delete star.cfg, show flash, config t mode single. So what I did, I changed the mode to single, and then I do clear configure all. By default this is in single mode only. So what I will do, I will change the mode to multi. Here also. Okay. Now meanwhile we will start configuring this. Let's on all the other devices also. Try to understand, we have two contexts, HR context and IT context. HR context LAN is 10, IT context LAN is 20 and 30 and 40, you know that. So I will do what? Interface E0 no shut, interface E1 no shut of ASA, interface E2 no shut, interface E6 no shut, and interface E7 that is going to act for LAN based failover. So 0, 1, 2 and then 6 and 7. 0 for outside, E1 dot 10 for inside, E1 dot 20 for inside of HR. So I will do this. Interface E1 dot 10 description HR LAN VLAN 10, interface E1 dot 20 description IT LAN VLAN 20, interface E2 dot 30 description HRDMZ, interface E2 dot 40 description IT DMZ. Okay. Then I do what? Context HR, allocate interface E0, allocate, I told you can also name outside, or you can say HR outside. Okay. Then you can say E1 dot 10 HR LAN, E1 dot E2 dot 30 HRDMZ. Create one more context called IT 1.20 2.40. This will be IT. IT, IT. Copy, show mode, show mode, and make this also what? Multiple. Show flash, show run, okay. Config T. So when I say show interface IP brief, I can see E0, E1, E6, E7, 0, 1, 2 all are up. Sub interface also created. Show context. You can see an admin context is also created. You can go and allocate, say E012 is gone, so I will make E3 as management interface. So I will say no shut. So I will go to context admin and say allocate, context admin, and say allocate interface E3. I gave E3 as a management interface. Now I will say change to context, say HR. Okay. I have not mentioned where I want to save it. So I need to do that with the command config URL. This 0 means inbuilt flash CFG. Same thing, I will go to IT and say save it in IT. Show run context. I say change to context HR. Interface HR outside. IP address see correctly. We will do the configuration here. What I said, change to context HR, interface HR underscore outside, IP address 20.1.1.1 255.255.255.0, but I have to do what? I have to write down the IP address for standby also. If you see the diagram, which diagram? This one, 20.1.1.1 and 20.1.1.2. Now this is the standby unit IP address. No shut, name if outside, interface HR inside, IP address 192.168.10.1 255.255.255.0, standby unit 192.168.10.2. see this on the top, VLAN 10, VLAN 10, 10.1, 10.2, standby unit IP address, no shut, name if, inside. When I give outside and inside, it will consider the default security level. For outside it is 0, for inside it is 100. Then I say DMZ or HR DMZ. IP address 10.1.30.1 255.255.255.0 standby 10.1.30.2 DMZ route outside 20.1.5. I told you, no, R1 is now 5 because I already utilize all the 4 IP address. Access list out dash in permit TCP any to host 10.1.30.2 equal to telnet AT and ICMP also. And then I say access group out dash in interface outside. IT 3 and 4, 1 and 2 is already being used. So 3 and 4, 20.1 and 20.2, 40.1 and 40.2, 40.2, 40.2, 40.2. Got it? So 1 and 2 is being done active and standby unit. 192.168.10.1 and 10.4 LAN, 30.1 and 30.2 for DMZ. Same way 3 and 4, just because both the firewall is having one single exit towards perimeter router. For internet I am constantly using 20 network for outside. So 3, 4, 20.1 and 20.2 as per the diagram. See 40.1 and 40.2. Here I have to write down the security level to 50. Same thing for this one also, because when you give name if DMZ it takes 0. So this is my HR. So when I say show route or when I say show interface IP brief, oh, I forgot to give name if, I think, right? I gave, no? Name if outside, inside and DMZ. So what is the issue? Name if outside is given, Oh, it is HR LAN. HR DMZ is there. My mistake. So when I say show interface IP brief, again DMZ why is not taking? I gave DMZ. Show interface IP brief. Name of DMZ, HR DMZ, 10.1. Change to system. We need to check whether we have given this DMZ here or not. HR DMZ is there, IT DMZ is there, E1.10, E1.20, E2.30, E.40. Check 1.10, 1.20, 2.30, 2.40. But you see, they don't have VLANs. E2.30 don't have VLAN 30, and this guy don't have VLAN 40. Change to context HR. See, just because the VLAN was not mapped, so I need to, this was there, 30, 40, so 10, 20, 30, 40. Show route, ping 20.1.1.5 pinging. Okay, now you go to IT contacts. So no shut is there, name if is there, everything is there. Copy, change to contacts IT, show interface IP brief, show run. So my mistake. Okay, all done. I say write mem all. So all my contacts got saved. Now I will do what? I will make group. I will say preempt and then make it as what? Primary. Group 2 preempt secondary. See what I did? I created two groups. First one is primary, second one is secondary, and preempt will take place. What is preempt? In case if ASA 1 goes down, ASA 2 will take care of both the contacts, but if ASA 1 come back, he has to take over the position of active for contacts 1, that is HR. So when I say show run failover, I can see I created two groups. Now I will say failover LAN unit primary, failover LAN interface G0 interface FO G0 by 6 as per the diagram. And the name we have selected is FO. E6. Then I say failover link state some name. Okay. State which interface? E7. So when I say show failover, you can see unit primary LAN interface FO E6 link is set. Now I will say failover interface IP FO. I give 10.2.2.1 255.255.255.0 and the standby unit is 10.2.2.2. Then I say failover interface IP state 10.3.3.1 255. You can take any private IP address. Standby 10.3.3.2. So when I say show run failover, I can see I have configured stateful also. E7 acting as a stateful and the IP address for E7 is 10.3.3.1 and for E6 it is 10.2.2.2. Now I will go to contacts HR and say you join failover group 1 and I will go to IT and say you join failover group 2. Okay. Rest of the command will be same except secondary for ASA2 it will be secondary, but before this I have to do config T interface E6 no shut, interface E7 no shut, and definitely I have to do multiple mode. So what I will do now, take a copy, I have to do failover also. Okay. Now I will go here and see if first say show mode, and of course I think date MAC address auto, very important. Now I will go here and paste what? This command. Show failover. This unit is primary, but now you see HR and IT is there. Where my contacts gone? Strange. Oh, by mistake I made this fellow also primary. No, I said secondary. So run failover. Secondary. Why I lost my contacts? It is there. Contacts, HR, join, failover group 1, preempt. Okay, I have to create. I created, no? Anyway, failover group 1. Failover group 1. Wait, I will keep this fellow down. First let this fellow be configured. So run. Okay, so I create a failover group 1. So first I will remove this, preempt primary. Just 1 minute, huh? I'll take a break. So when I say failover group 1 preempt secondary, okay, then I have to go in contacts, HR, and say join failover group 1, and then I go to IT and I say join failover group 2, and then I say write PEM all. So when I say show run, show failover, last but not least I say failover. So when I say show failover, now I will bring this up. the version, everything has to be same. Now I will go here, paste this. See, for both the group he has become active. So I will go here and show failover. See, for group 1, that is HR, this guy is active. For group 2, he is standby. Show failover. For group 1, he is standby because ASA1 is active, and for group 2, he is active. This is the beauty of failover. Okay. So what we will do, we will continue this. I will show you more feature in this in the next session, that is on Monday. We will keep it as it is for now. Okay. Because Ramzan time is there, I have to go home. Muhammad Mujahid. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye. Take care.